Good morning, good evening, and good night to everyone out there on the internet. Whether you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, this is Lancing with Myself, the 5-minute weekly podcast with me, Steve D, from Tin Star Games, talking about game design and being a freelance creative when you are low on spoons and low on cash. A lot of these podcasts exist. If you have any kind of interest in game design, you can find a great deal of podcasts telling you how to do it, or indeed how to do lots of things. The internet is full of advice. It's pretty much the main thing we use it for. If we're not just pointing at things and saying that's wrong, we're pointing at this and saying we should do that, you should do that instead. In other words, there's a huge amount of people telling you what you should be doing as a game designer, and I'm not innocent of doing that either. There is an awful lot of things that you ought to do to be a good game designer, and there is therefore the essence of the idea emerges of what is the perfect game designer. The perfect game designer works on his games every day. He has a lot of things in his back catalog. He keeps good records. He never throws out an idea. He's always doing jams. He's always going to events. He's always got something new. He's working really hard on something big project. He's got lots of different interests. He's got lots of different games that he loves. He plays lots of games. He's up to date on the newest games. He's up to date on the discourse. He's backed all the latest Kickstarters. He's played all the things that have been delivered. He's on all the groups. He's on Reddit. He's on Facebook. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. He's out there blogging and sharing with his community. He's adding value everywhere he goes. He's mentoring to others. He's helping build community. He's showing up for play tests and unpubs. He's shaking your hand and playing your games and fun to be with. And, he's great at helping out with charities, and he's politically correct, and he's supporting minorities, and he's saying the right things and doing the right things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't support minorities and say things like Black Lives Matter, because that's not exactly a difficult thing to do. But what I'm saying is that all of these things can be going on at once, and there's a million things that you need to do to be the perfect game designer. And some of those are more about being a good person, but there's just a million things that are expected of us: to be communicative and dedicated and constant and working on every single aspect all at once. And right now I am up to my elbows in putting things in packages, and I can't be the perfect game designer right now because I'm doing that and I'm learning new things and I'm struggling with that. Then last week I had a toothache and I couldn't be doing that. I've got other things going on with my job, so I can't just do everything that a perfect game designer does. So I've dropped out a bit of organizing community stuff. I've said this year I'm not going to go to cons because I just don't have the money or the time, and I burnt myself out last year going to so many. I can't be out there running relics for everybody who wants it. I can't be out there organizing events for other people to run at relics. I can't be out there burning out new ideas and jumping into jams and entering every single competition. And as I've said before, there's lots of opportunities. You can let some of them go past, but this is a wider issue than that. That there is so much pressure to do all the things that a game designer is expected to do: to listen to all the podcasts, read all the books, do all the research, play all the games, back all the games, buy all the games, learn all the games, master all the games, be an aficionado of the entire art form, and speak of its great strengths to the world, to be on display as the epitome of the greatest human being who ever played a game, and supporting everyone else and never having a cross word on your mouth for anyone else in the industry. It's exhausting to be the perfect game designer. You will never be the perfect game designer, and more importantly, you need to know what's on your plate, right? What's filling you up, what's taking your spoons away, and which things are you're gonna have to let go. Maybe this week, this month, this year isn't the year for building prototypes or being on the internet or building the community or being part of the community. Maybe you're just going to go away for a few years, Maybe you're going to be a JD Salinger. You make something, you go away. You don't have to hang around. You don't have to be the perfect game designer and game publisher, You don't have to be constantly adding energy and putting forth this perfect face. You just have to keep at it, however makes sense for you, without hurting yourself. Stop making games if you need to, but also, stop talking on social media about it. Drop out of the community. Stop, unfollow some people. Get off some Facebook groups. Stop buying new games. Just stick with the ones you've got. Or not, take a break. You can easily burn out. Just go, I'm not going to play games for a few years, or I'm not going to play these kind of games. I don't want to play RPGs anymore. I don't want to play board games. I'm tired of strategy. You've got to pick your battles, and you've got to just narrow your niche, because there's just so much out there, and you cannot do it all. And so the bigger and the more you're taking on from other things, the more you're going to let things drop. So think about what really matters to you. Think about all the other things that are out there, and get a sense of a hierarchy. Look, what's the most important thing to me? What gives me energy? What takes energy? And when things are taking lots of your energy, let all the other things that take go. All right? Because trying to be a perfect game designer and do everything will kill you. So step back, let it go. Just do what makes sense for you. Deal with what's on your plate now. Be that kind of game designer. All right? You don't have to show up for every jam, for every event, for every post online. You don't have to comment on every trend, play every game. I've said it before, I'll say it again, let it go. There's too much, and there's too much coming at you, and you can't be perfect, and you shouldn't have to be, and you don't have to apologize for that. That's all for today. Don't be the perfect game designer, and don't try to be. Just be you. Till next time, be good, pat dogs, play games, have fun. I've been Steve D, and this has been Lancing with myself.